request Shri U. Kumar, Executive President ICF, to welcome Shri Milind Yaskarji, General Manager Eastern Railways, with a floral bouquet. May I also request Mr. U. Kumar to give a floral bouquet, welcome bouquet from Madam Manuk. May I now request the dignitaries on the dais to light the ceremonial lamp. This is with the modern technology of lighting through a remote control. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Mr. P.M. Prasad, CMD, Coal India, Mr. Milind Dioskar, General Manager of Eastern Railway, Michelle Manuk, the CEO of Future Coal, Mr. Kumar, Mr. Gautam, ladies and gentlemen. Coal Log India 2024 is the third in series which I am attending. The idea behind this entire conference is to look very deeply into the issues of coal logistics and people around who are very familiar with the entire value chain of coal, how it moves from the mines and reaches the consumer, the user, I would say, not exactly consumer, the user. And in the entire movement, there are very many issues that come up. As Mr. Gautam said, there are now several modes of transportation. Much of it moves by rail. It also moves by road. Modern methods of conveyor or tube conveyor are also being used. And it's a question of seeing which is going to be the most appropriate. I am purposely using the word most appropriate because what could be cost effective may not be most appropriate. What could be environmentally best may be very costly. So one has to move and see what mode becomes appropriate. There will always be a pressure in terms of ensuring that environment disturbance is the minimum. However, we have moved away, say, even rail for that reason. We are all moving into electric, and we are soon thinking of using even hydrogen for transportation. When it comes to trucks, again, the same issue. A lot of diesel is being used. Can we move into electric? Can we move into hydrogen? But if all that is thought of, and even conveyors may be extremely environment-friendly way of moving the coal. If you see this entire movement, then normally, technically, we divide this into three parts: the first mile connectivity, long movement, and the last mile connectivity. In any kind of movement of the ore. There are issues in each one of them. I won't say that each is kind of, they are joints, but yet there are issues in each one, whether it's the first mile connectivity. A lot of emphasis recently has been given to the first mile connectivity, particularly from government side, indirectly, Coal India. Well, there are other companies, government companies like Nivali Lignite, there's Singareni Collieries, and there are many others who face the similar problem. Now we have finding that there is a lot of private players in coal production, and what is now needed is maybe even the thinking has already perhaps started, is to look at how best can rail be modified or rail network be formed with a PPP kind of an approach for easy transportation and movement from the mines. There's a lot many things that can be said about first mile and long movement and even last mile connectivity. I wouldn't like to go into details because the entire conference is supposed to be discussing that. At this, I would like to kind of conclude my small little interjection on the subject. Well, this conference has been organized by Indian Coal Forum, and on behalf of Indian Coal Forum, I would like to firstly welcome Mr. Prasad, Chairman of Coal India, to have spared his time to come and address the conference. We have, of course, very fortunate also to have the General Manager of Eastern Railway. Well, I think as far as transportation is concerned, rail is the major partner. If I'm not wrong, the major part of coal is actually transported by rail. So your role, sir, is a major role, and we are very happy that you have been able to spare time to speak in the conference and maybe project some new ideas about the whole rail system that is being utilized for coal transportation. We have Michelle Manouk, I welcome her. She is the CEO of Future Coal. Future Coal is basically a body which its origin lies in the World Coal Association. In fact, World Coal Association has been re-christened as Future Coal. The good part of it is that this body was initially launched in India last year, and there's a lot of expectations with regard to the role this country would play in that body. It's an international body and is looking at what is the way coal can really play a significant role in areas of development, keeping in mind the necessities of the community without closing your eyes towards the effects the ore can have on the environment. We have Mr. Kumar, who is the President of Indian Coal Forum, and Mr. Gautam, who is the Secretary General, in fact. I welcome all the guests who have spared time to attend this conference. We will be going through a large number of sessions, and we look at various sections of the entire chain which is there on movement, whether it's rail, road, other modes, etc. And we will have a very intense discussion on all these issues during the day. I conclude at this point of time welcoming everybody on the dais as well as those people sitting on the dais to this CIL 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. U. Kumar, Executive President, Indian Coal Forum, and former CMD of NCL and Southeastern Coalfield, to introduce the theme of the subject today.
Good morning, everyone. We have the privilege of having our chief guest, Shri Prasad, our guest of honor, Shri Deskar, Ms. Manuk is a special guest, and Mr. Parthi is our own, he's the chairman. And thank you all for being with us. Like Mr. Gautam said, coal is the prime energy source for the country. We are producing just about 1 billion tons last year, but we have a very ambitious program of hitting 1,550 million ton by 2030. That amounts to almost 100 million ton increase every year. Obviously, very big challenge. Now, even at the level of 1 billion tons, reaching the coal to the users is proving to be a challenge. We have to get ready for 1,550 million tons. And that is why this conference has been organized. Railways being the prime mover of coal, they account for 55%. They're actively on the job. They have done lots, but lots remain to be done. But it's very gratifying that the matter has been taken up very seriously with the new mode of having joint ventures with Coal India and the state governments, which have made things very easy. And hopefully, they will be able to achieve the task that they have set before themselves. Another mode of transport where rail again features is rail cum sea cum rail, which serves the South Indian consumers, but it has a tremendous scope for moving to western sector, western coast. It will no doubt be a little costly, but it will do a lot on reducing the pressure on railways, and that should make coal movement easier. Problem with coal is that we produce it only in 6-7 states, but it is consumed all over the country.